Hello friends! The range of engines is opened by the Petrol 1.6 of the famous Prince series, created in collaboration between BMW and the PSA Group. Its main problem is the drive of the gas distribution system, the tensioner and the chain. The chain stretches after 100 to 150,000 kilometers. Jumping the chain is fraught with a costly overhaul of the engine. Sometimes minor failures occur, accompanied by a message on the onboard computer display, followed by the engine switching to emergency mode. The reasons are different. Sometimes a simple software update helps. In some cases, the turbocharger fails, or rather, the bypass valve does not function correctly. It should be emphasized that even the weakest variants of the 1.6 unit have direct injection and turbocharging. Another problem is high oil consumption, up to 1 liter per 1,000 kilometers. One of the common reasons is the aging of valve stem seals. Therefore, they are usually updated along with an extended timing chain. Damaged oil separator membrane. You can replace the gum itself, but engine experts recommend changing the entire valve cover. The worst thing that can happen is detonation due to low quality fuel. The piston is destroyed and scoring appears on the cylinder walls. Among regular minor defects, one can note damage to the air duct pipes, expansion tank, failure of the ignition coils, thermostat, and malfunctions of the Vanos solenoid valve. The 1.6 engine, i.e. N13, was installed until the 2015 facelift, with the exception of the 177 horsepower variant, which left a year later. Further, the role of the base engine was transferred to a 3-cylinder 1.5 from the B family, B38 B15. 1.5-liter units of the initial production period are a risky choice. Play appeared on the thrust bearing of the crankshaft. A loud metallic sound suggested an annoying nuisance. The problem could surface after 30,000 kilometers. The engine had to be replaced. The good news is that since April 2015, BMW has been installing a modified 1.5. The bad news is that it later turned out that the pistons could collapse, or the turbocharger could fail. It is worth being wary of a 2-liter gasoline engine, which was installed before restyling. His N20 version suffered from oil pump drive problems. As a result, the chain began to make noise. If the symptoms were ignored, then everything ended with engine damage. Timely contacting the service made it possible to limit ourselves to replacing the chain and the oil pump. Traditionally, the camshaft drive chain could also fail. Its noise was detected after 50 to 60,000 kilometers. Among the 2-liter ones, we can recommend the B48, 184 and 224 horsepower, which went on sale in 2016. At least, nothing has been heard about massive serious problems with them yet. Fans of petrol versions still have a choice in favor of a 3-liter unit. The 6-cylinder engine was reserved for the sporty M version. Until 2016, the N55 engine was used. During the facelift, it gained 6 horsepower. Power increased from 320 to 326 horsepower. Of the main disadvantages, short-lived nozzles and engine sensors can be noted. All of these components are complex devices, and original parts are usually very expensive. In the case of the BMW 1 Series, diesels are not very popular. Like gasoline units, they can be divided into those that were before restyling, N47, and after, B37 and B47. The first were 1.6-liter engines, 95 horsepower 114D and 116D in the economical version of Efficient Dynamics, and 2 liters. The main problem with these turbo diesels is premature wear of the timing chain. Additional difficulties were created by its location between the block and the box. Over time, several replacement methods have emerged. Some mechanics, as required by the instructions, take out the engine, others only weaken it, and still others, using special kits, change the chain right on the engine. Unfortunately, the service life of the timing chain often does not exceed 150,000 kilometers. The reason is the low quality of the components, the drive design itself, the untimely oil change, or its mediocre properties. In advanced cases, gears wear out, which can lead to engine damage. The turbocharger does not differ in resistance, symptoms, power loss, and error messages. The turbine itself, or its control system, fails. However, the grease supply and return lines must be carefully checked and possibly replaced. Sometimes, it becomes necessary to force burn the DPF particulate filter, since oil dilution in case of problems with automatic filter burning does not increase the life of the timing chain. After 150,000 kilometers, the crankshaft damper pulley wears out. We add that the N47 diesel is at risk of failure of the EGR cooler. However, such problems have not yet been heard here, but the technique is the same as that of larger models, and they fell under the distribution. On the other hand, don't be dramatic. A well-maintained BMW 1 Series F20 with a 2-liter diesel engine can be truly noble, dynamic, and economical. You should just avoid instances with a dubious history. If the budget allows, then it is better to buy a restyled version. At least, nothing has been heard about timing problems in new engines. The presence of a turbo diesel under the hood is associated with another risk, a breakdown of the GS645D manual gearbox, which is accompanied by the loss of gears, rear or front. There are many companies that specialize in repairing these mechanics. Just do not choose a service based only on a low price tag. In the event of an unsuccessful overhaul, the repeated removal and disassembly of the manual transmission will now require large costs. The 8-speed automatic ZF 8HP series is quite reliable. From time to time, the rear gearbox seals begin to leak. The silent blocks of the front levers have to be updated after 100 to 150,000 kilometers. By this time, floating silent blocks on the rear axle may creak. There is also a rather unexpected defect, the destruction of the steering gear mounting bolts. So if you find a bolt under the car, don't throw it away, just show it to the mechanic. Without one bolt, nothing will happen, but if you lose more, then the situation can become threatening. The manufacturer exchanged aluminum bolts for steel ones as part of a service campaign. However, many BMW 1 owners received new steering racks. The replacement also applied to restyled cars. In addition, the power steering motor sometimes fails, and play increases over time. Rust does not touch the body, but sometimes a few unsightly spots can be found on the tailgate. In addition, after 100 to 150,000 kilometers, the trunk lid lock fails. There are losses of refrigerant in the air conditioning system. Lack of gas leads to noise and malfunction of the system. Sometimes the frame of the chair is damaged. Fortunately, the disease did not affect all equipment options. Other faults are related to the electronics, such as the media screen, and the state of the battery charge level. It is usually possible to bring the electronics to life after a software update. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.